The next case.
All parties in the matter of Benjamin versus Love. Step forward, please.
Child care provider Julia Benjamin and her husband, police officer Michael Benjamin, are suing Julia's aunt, child care provider Elsie Love, for the return of their dog, Fluffy. Elsie says Fluffy is hers.
Mrs. Benjamin, is this your aunt?
Yes.
And you're her husband?
Yes.
According to what I've read, it is your claim that you loaned this dog to your aunt. Now you want the dog back. She says you can't have the dog back because this was not a loan. You gave her the dog. And this is all about another issue that is probably much more important, which has to do with the custody of your daughter, who was, for most of her life, raised by your aunt. And you just regained custody of her, is that right?
No, that's not right, Your Honor.
Well, let me get to this part of it's not really a defense, but it's sort of a motive. You were on good relations with your aunt?
Yes, for the most part, yes.
Good. And how many children do you have?
5.
Which child lived with you for 6 years?
The third.
What's the child's name?
Maisha.
How old is Maisha?
Maisha's 10 now.
How old was she when she came to you?
4 months old.
And how long did she stay with you?
8 years.
Was she placed with you by the courts?
She was given to me through her mother.
How come?
Her mother had a drug problem.
So Mrs. Benjamin gave you Maisha. Courts had nothing to do with it?
The courts had nothing to do with it.
Where were her other 4 children?
She only had 3 then. The 2 oldest children were with her aunt, and Maisha was with me.
So far, is that right?
For the most part.
Good. And when was Maisha returned to her mother?
In 2001.
Was that voluntary on your part, or did a court order that return?
The court ordered it with stipulations.
And the stipulation was involving visitation, is that right?
Yes.
Do you currently have visitation with Maisha?
I have visitation with Maisha on the weekends that I have her. I have visitations from after school until 8 o'clock on Sunday night.
So you have her for weekends, certain weekends?
Yeah, every other weekend.
Now I want you to tell me about the dog. You're up.
First of all...
Not you. Her.
Okay, I asked my aunt. I had a breakout at my daycare center. I'm a family daycare provider. And
since when have you been a family daycare provider?
Since '96.
In what state?
New Jersey.
When did you complete a drug program?
I didn't complete a drug program. I didn't have to. I got clean on my own.
Well, then why did you leave your child with your aunt for 8 years?
Can I address the things that she said?
Well, your child was with your aunt for 8 years. That's true.
My child was with my aunt. I asked my aunt to care for her because I knew that I couldn't at the time. I did not abandon my child.
I didn't ask you
I did
any of that.
not give my child away.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. You had a drug problem. So if you didn't go into a program, when did you stop using drugs? In what year?
I stopped using drugs in '95.
And your child remained with your aunt until 2001. Is that right?
That's right.
And what about your other 2 children? How long did they stay with their other aunt?
Until '96.
And is Mr. Benjamin the father of all 3 of these children?
No.
Is he the father of any of them?
The last 2.
And you were granted a license to take care of children a year after you got clean from drugs?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get back to the dog.
Your Honor, can I...
Let's get back to the dog. When did you give your aunt the dog?
I didn't give my aunt the dog. I asked her to care for the dog in November until we moved.
Okay. And at what stage were the court proceedings in November of 2002 involving your aunt's visitation with Maisha? Were there court proceedings pending?
No, there wasn't.
Were there court proceedings after November of 2002 involving your aunt and visitation?
Yes, in January.
January what?
31st.
So I assume that you were contesting your aunt having extensive visitation with Maisha.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
When did you ask for the dog back?
My husband asked for the dog back.
Tell me when you did that, sir.
January 31st.
When you were in court?
No.
When you were outside of court?
Yes.
So you came outside of court after the case was adjourned, and you had this court proceeding that said that this was not going to be easy. And you found her in her car?
No.
Where did you find her?
I didn't find her at all. When I left out of the court, we seen her friend in the vehicle.
And?
So I stated to him that I will be coming over to get Fluffy later on. Now, can I say this? Me and this gentleman has made communication in reference to Fluffy on several occasions. He is aware that I did state to him that at any given time, when my two daughters, whom I bought the dog for, would continue to pester me about they wanted their dog home, that I would be coming to pick up the dog, and he agreed. And the reason why...
Get your kids another dog.
Your Honor.
Get your kids another dog. You walk out of court in a court proceeding where you are clearly losing. You're clearly losing because the judge is going to adjourn the case until February. And you don't want Maisha to have to be bothered with visitation with the person who raised her.
Not true. That's
From
not
the time
true.
she's 4 months old, quiet, until she's 8. And now there's a visitation proceeding pending. And Mr. Wonderful over here at that time says, we're coming over to get our dog. You gave her the dog in November. November comes and goes, no word. December comes and goes, no word. January comes and goes. That's according to Mr. Benjamin, who is the owner of the dog.
Well, first of all, I didn't finish saying.
I'm speaking.
I need to be able to say something else, though.
I'm going to let you speak.
Okay.
So 3 months go by, January 31st, at a time when you're coming out of court and you're losing. Then you say to him, and I'm coming over to get my Fluffy. That's what you said.
Yes, I did.
Good. Now I'm going to hear everything that you have to say.
Okay, when Fluffy was given to her aunt by my wife, I really wasn't in agreement with that. I did voice my concern because I did call over to her aunts. I did voice to her how I felt about Fluffy, how my two daughters felt about Fluffy, and that really we weren't happy that Fluffy was with her. But at the same time, you know, if we could just come and visit Fluffy when we wanted to, and if she can bring Fluffy when she picks up Maisha so that he would continue to see us, then I was fine with that. And she agreed. And so therefore, actually, the dog was only brought to my home on one occasion by her boyfriend.
Are we finished now?
No, I'm not. And so actually, he never brought the dog again, so I made several phone calls and talked to the dog on the phone. And that was my only communication with the dog.
Did the dog answer you when they talked to
Well,
you?
basically, I asked for a response from Maisha, who was there, and she said that he did the normal. He would wag his tail, and in other words, he noticed, he identified my voice.
Perfect.
Your Honor.
Yeah. Now, just a second. I want to be, you know, my middle name is Fair.
Sure.
So I want to be totally fair. Are you finished?
Am I finished?
Yes.
Well, not really.
Listen, Mr. Benjamin, I want you to be finished, sir, before I let Mrs. Benjamin speak.
Well, one of the things I want to say is the aunt had been communicating through my wife, and I had been communicating through her boyfriend. For some reason, the aunt never communicated with me, and probably that's because she knows that she can't say anything to me